Ed, give you the nod. Ready to roll? Okay. Thank you. We have one hearing this evening. I'd like to thank everybody for being here. Today, Walton Hills Zoning Board of Appeals meeting is for Joseph and Karen Bell. We'll come to order now at 6:01 p.m. This hearing for Joseph and Karen Bell, property is located at 14901 Alexander Road in Walton Hills. Mr. and Mrs. Bell are asking for a side lot variance to construct an addition to their home, and they are appealing the Village Codified Ordinance number 126604 subsection E, which is a minimum side setback needs to be 20 feet. I would like to thank again Mr. Mayor Colagraph for his efforts to utilize setting up a YouTube for the use of the generating this hearing electronically, and Mr. Oliver for doing this for us as well. I need to read a brief summary of the conduct of this meeting based on the state of Ohio's rules. Because of COVID-19 legislation modifying the Open Meeting Act for the state of Ohio, Governor DeWine signed a bill on March 27th of this year, amending the House Bill 197, which relates to the conduct of public meetings and hearing during the period of COVID-19 emergency. So we have a maximum of 10 people in the room, and everybody else that's going to be generating any questions or what have you, we'll be sending emails to Angela via YouTube. So occasionally we'll have some people that are for the variance, and some of the people, they don't care about the variance, but they still want to ask a question. So the enactment provides that during its effective period, members of the public bodies may hold and attend meetings and conduct hearings by means of teleconference, video conference, or any other similar electronic technology. This also gives the residents the right to present a written or oral testimony on the matter. Because of this, the administration sent out letters to the area around the Bell's residence announcing that the meeting will take place tonight. So we have that. That took place, I believe it was on the 9th. Lisa sent out the letters to the residents. And I believe Mr. Fike also received a letter, which is great. So we wanted to let everybody know that they could attend this hearing via YouTube. So to date, I have not received any comments, which is okay. And I wanted to let Mr. and Mrs. Bell know that we have a full board present, and we also have our zoning inspector, Jeff Burgess, here as well. So I would like to ask Mr. Secretary, will you please review the data for this hearing?
This hearing pertains to the appeal of Paul Fike, builder for Joseph and Carrie Bell, 14901 Alexander Road, Walton Hills, Ohio. The Village of Walton Hills received a building permit application dated May 7, 2020 on May 8, 2020. Description of project: bedroom addition and garage. Rob Coleman, Street Commissioner, RBI, on May 12th, 2020, in a written reply stated that the zoning approval cannot be made at this time since Sheet A-1, dated 5/3/2020, indicates a side yard setback to the proposed addition of 15 feet. Codified Ordinance 126604 E2 sets the minimum setback at 20 feet. A hearing application dated May 14th, 2020 to the Board of Zoning Appeals was stamped as being received on May 14th, 2020 by the Village of Walton Hills. Decisions being appealed: Ordinance 1266.04 E, minimum side setback, each side 20 feet. All applicable documentation was provided. Notification of the Tuesday, 16 June 2020 at 6 p.m. hearing via YouTube was mailed to the following residents, interested parties, on June 9th, 2020. The Bells, Fike Builders, Bob Sipkovich Ministries, Sean Kelly, Dave and Mary Bosch, and Patrick Ruckert on June 9th, 2020. Due to the COVID-19 stay-at-home order, this hearing will be on YouTube. On-site inspections conducted by Mr. Owens on 6/16/2020, Ms. Workman on 6/13/2020, Mr. Rich on 6/7/2020, Mr. Pollack on 6/12/2020, and Mr. Johansson on 6/3/2020.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Secretary, will you please read the ordinance in question?
126604, dwelling setback requirements. 126604 E2, minimum side setback each side for a country home district is 20 feet.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. The next segment of the meeting is the Bells or the Fikes or both will testify. So I'll read a clause and then you'll have to sign your name and get sworn in, okay? So persons wishing to testify will sign their name, address, and phone numbers on the witness list, and Ms. Workman will administer the testimonial oath. So anyone that wants to speak, please approach Ms. Workman and sign your name and get sworn in.
I put the list up here for you to find. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony given or statements made at this hearing are to the best of your knowledge, truthful and factual, so help you God?
Thank you, Ms. Workman. Persons that are testifying will identify themselves before addressing the board, and each person will speak once and wait until the other remarks have been heard. And then the floor will be opened up for comments and questions from the board. So that's the flow of the next segment of the meeting. Okay. So, Mr. Fike and or Ms. Bell, would you please state your reasons for wanting this variance?
Good evening. Thank you for having the meeting tonight. I'm David Fike from Paul Fike Builders at 9467 South Skyland Drive, Macedonia, Ohio. I'm here representing the Joe and Carrie Bell residents. I should know the address.
14901 Alexander Road.
14901 Alexander Road, Walton Hills. And we're here tonight, we worked on several plans trying to accommodate their goals of creating a master bedroom suite with a garage attached to it and applying it to their house with the minimal amount of disruption to the flow of the house and everything they have. They have a 100-foot wide lot, 60-foot house, with a side-load garage, which is a tight side-load garage. And the kitchen window is 14 feet from the existing corner that we're working off of that's on the driveway side. And to get the garage in and working the bedrooms to have and we're utilizing one room in the house as it's coming out into that space. And it's just the best flow to get access, and we're trying to make it ADA compliant by shifting it that 5 feet to stay within that the ordinances. We would literally be walking into a wall, which creates problems. So That's one of the reasons we're here tonight. Plus, we're next to, I believe it's an 18-acre parcel, the church right next door to them. So we don't feel that we have a very high impact with the neighbor, being that it's not residential. And I meant to bring some paperwork. I was going to be on the YouTube meeting, didn't know I could be here, and I forgot I'm back in the office. So I'm sure there's another argument I have about that, but I can't remember what it is. Carrie, would you like to say anything?
Thank you, Mr. Fike.
Well, by moving the addition, we would have to redesign everything, and I would actually have to lose my kitchen window in my home. We are building the addition for my parents, who are elderly, to live in, so that we can help care for them. And the way we have it laid out, it just flows nicely with us having access to them quickly, but yet them having their own space. And they would have their own garage entrance from our home. So it just, the way it's laid out works well. We did not understand that we were up against, what we were up against, or we would have redesigned it a different way. We just weren't informed at the time. So we're just trying to move things along so that we can help my parents out the best we can.
Thank you, Mrs. Bell. Are there any proponents for the variance? I see none. Are there any opponents for the variance? Have we heard anything, Angela?
No comments. No.
No comments? All questions come from the board next, so we don't have anybody from the outside that has asked us any questions, so we have a round of questions we'll probably be asking. So do we have questions from the board? Mr. Owens? I'll start with you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I haven't seen, and maybe it's my fault, but I haven't seen a proposed layout of what the new lot would look like.
I have a mini print if you'd like to look at that.
Want to see that too?
It's a little difficult.
Is there more than one copy there, or is that just one copy? Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to see the drawing when Duke's done with
Mr.
it?
Hanson? Yeah, I could get copies. Yeah, we could get copies made.
Okay, can we get copies made of that too, real quick?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Jeff.
You're gonna do that?
This won't be a short recess, but it'll be a kind of a pause. Did it have square footage listed on there? The square footage of the,
It is on the print, on the first floor plan.
okay, yeah, because what we have right here is, this is all that we have right here, that we got, was,
Oh, okay.
it didn't give us any square footage.
Oh, yeah.
So there's relevant questions as a result.
Sure.
What you got?
Well, this is what we received from Lisa, which was the topo, basically, of the addition and the existing home and the lot lines, but we don't have any square footage.
No, and that leaves questions too, because it's already 15 feet off the line.
Here?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's on the other side.
so it's going to be 15 feet on both sides.
Yes, that's what it appears to be.
Okay, thank you.
While we're waiting, does anyone else have any questions? Mr. Pollock, Ms. Workman, Wayne?
Question, did they ever ask about square footage?
Could you speak in the microphone, please?
The question was square footage.
Yes.
We're 820 square feet on the floor space for the addition, plus the garage.
Okay.
I don't think I have that broken out separately, but give me a second, I might. $384 square feet in the garage.
284?
384.
384 garage. And can I ask a question where we have, on our topo, it's got 15 feet and it's got 10 feet. Does that mean that the 10 feet is 10 feet from the driveway or from the building? Is that the driveway?
That is the driveway that we're going to have going around to the back of the building, and it's a rear load garage.
And then the 15 side, is that the distance between the home and the lot line?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
So we need more than a 5-foot variance.
No, actually, the drive is 10 feet from the building,
Okay.
but it's still 15 feet from the lot line.
Correct.
I see, okay.
That's why I brought it up, because that
Okay.
was kind of,
I didn't realize you didn't have blueprints, or I would have brought
Yeah.
a lot of copies.
There's a row of trees. Are you going to have to remove any of those trees to accommodate this new addition?
Yes, we will.
Just down the driveway? Now, do you share the trees with the church, or they're all on your property?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have some more questions off of this data here, so.
Thank you.
That's
So from the Bell Residence addition, where would the church view be? Would it be the left elevation?
Correct.
The church would see that elevation?
Excuse me.
Or would
The
they-
right- the
they would
right
see
elevation.
elevation?
Yeah.
Correct.
And then the neighbors to the east would see the left?
Correct.
Okay. And the rear elevation looks really nice.
Then you have
Yeah.
to continue the porch over to make it look.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
The entrance to the garage is going to be in back then. You're not going to see that from the highway. Is that correct?
Correct.
And not from the neighbors either.
Okay.
Anybody do a calculation from the lot line to the church entrance driveway? I mean, was that 40 yards, 50 yards, 100 feet? Any idea, Jeff?
We could find that out when we take a break.
Okay,
We just measured from the property line to where
okay,
the house is now.
okay.
I'm guessing it's about 100 yards.
About 100 yards to the entrance.
Yes.
It's a good
Yeah.
distance. If they want to know, I have it pulled up on my computer, I can give you a distance.
Okay. I mean, we normally take a break. If there's no more questions, we could take a short recess and then come back out, because I don't have any more questions. It doesn't seem like anybody else does.
I don't know.
We can come back in a few minutes. So we'd like to take a short recess at 6:20, okay? Thank you. Can we go through Don's office? or should-
Yes, you can go through Don's office. if you're in the planning commission, you have to recuse yourself from any contracts.
Right.
You know, any opportunities you may have.
Right. Well, yeah, if it was residential, you don't do any commercial. Yeah, it was on council and that's for 18 years. And out of the 18, I would say 12 years, he was, all about the village and that's it. And that came up all the time. At that time, back in 74, he was a small kid. Now, can you imagine now? They're working out well, I am, of course. What's that?
They do porch, so it gets, you get the frame. The porch has to go up to the, it's gotta be framed, you've got to have the exterior walls of the porch.
Did you guys buy your house from the Simons?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They were nice people. We wired, I wired that house when I had my electrical business, me and my partner, for I think did Frank Reedy build it? Brunello Builders?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we used to do all his, I think we did, at that time, we did that one. We did the one across the street, Chuck Rainey's across the street, the stucco house there, up a couple houses,
Okay.
two-story house, right next to the White Ranch.
Okay.
I think Frank Rainey built that one. I know he did, because we did that one for him. That was his cousin. That's his cousin, I think, or something like that.
We love the house, very well.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice house. And you got the best neighbor next door to you, a church. You know, no one, not too many people there complain. Do you guys talk to Pastor Bob there at all, or?
Not much.
I think
No?
we talked to, is it his son, I think, that does the grounds?
Oh, I don't know his,
I'm not sure if it's his
I do
son.
know his son, but I don't know. I mean, I would know, I know he has a son.
He lives in the back.
Oh, he's
So
living in
we
the back there,
just kind of
okay.
assume that,
Yeah, and then the kids ride their dirt bikes up and down, and when their grandkids are over, they play with them.
yeah, so we've had,
Oh, that's good.
residential contact like that.
Yeah. Because he's always been very cooperative with the village and nice. And that was a big church years ago,
I know.
and now it's a lot smaller. I've been in the village 25 years, and when I moved here, that church was huge. They had, that was one of the largest churches, parishes around, and they had that big, I think he still does, but I don't, the big prison ministry and youth programs. Gosh, there was people up there all the time.
Yeah, he's a huge Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah, they still do a great prison program, but
There should not very many people there though.
no, it's changed. They had 3 pastors at that time. Besides him, they had 2 or 3 younger pastors too. It was, but yeah, Walton Hills is a great community, isn't it?
It's awesome.
Yeah. I didn't grow up in this area. I grew up on the west side of Cleveland, and so it was all new to me, So I don't have all those ties like people did, all the Bedford ties and all that. Oh,
Oh,
They're kicking me out,
Back to work.
kicking me out.
All right, Doctor. Dr. Don.
Yep, that's what it is. Yep.
Going out there and with
Let's speak to you.
Okay.
You guys are lucky you don't have glasses.
I used to, years ago, I had eye surgery.
Oh, did you? Cataracts already?
No, I had the LASIK eye
Oh, you got
surgery.
the laser. I heard when you get cataracts, you got, and get rid of the glasses, but
That's true. No,
you still have to wear cheaters.
I'll have treatment soon too, because even with the LASIK down the road, that you need them for the reading.
Oh.
I'm just about there. I'm gonna need them soon.
So we're back from recess at 6:34.
I do have a comment.
Yeah,
I
Would you
just
like one?
wondered
Yeah,
if there were
comment.
any more comments or any additional testimony from the appellant or the zoning board.
I have one resident comment.
Yes.
Mary Spina Bosch said we are proponents of the approval of the variance. So
That's
she's-
good. Thank you.
Where do they live?
Let me ask her. Can you type back to her address, please?